Ladies and gentlemen, how are you? Good to see you Friday night. What is going on out there? There is a lot of true crime news from around the world, not just the giant stories, which we will cover, but also some of the smaller ones from around the world. Glitter says it's too cold. Are you sure? What's the temperature? Hold on. It is freezing if you're in the north. Wow. It is really cold. Let me change it. It is -3 degrees Celsius right now. Very, very cold. Hey, Mama Mia. Good to see you. See Anna, Rachel, Glitter, Laura T. Carla's here. Marilyn Landis. Kathy Lynch made it. I Hate Mornings. Who else is here? Laura T. Hey, Laura T. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see everyone. Um, The first story I wanna do with you all is this is a pretty interesting one out of Ohio. I hope you're having fun with that. This one is from Ohio. We do a lot of stories out of there. This one's pretty serious. This one happened a little while ago. It is the Akron police. It's the moment they shoot and kill a 15-year-old boy. So they finally released this video and wanted to take a look at it. We do some body cam footage, from time to time. So let me do that. Just that'll be your trigger warning, by the way. The fact that we had to mention that it was a 15-year-old. So here, let me line this up. Let me get this. Hey guys, good to see you. Good to see everyone out there. It's you guys are saying it's uh it's cold where you are. It is freaking hot here. It is hot and humid in Melbourne, and you're like, Ping, why are you wearing a hoodie? Because there's an air conditioner right here, and I was getting cold, but it is hot as hell outside. I can tell you that. Hey, April B, how are you? Hey, Video Reel, Moonlight View, Marlene Clausen. All right. All right, let's watch it. It's quite long, so I don't know if we're gonna watch all of. It has all these different angles. I don't know if we'll watch all of it because it's like half an hour. But here you go. Akron Police Department critical incident video release.
On Thursday, November 28, 2024, at 10:39 p.m., two officers were parked and sitting inside their marked police cruiser at East Avenue and Vernon Odom Boulevard, working on a report from a prior unrelated call. At 11 p.m., officers called over the radio with an emergency after hearing gunshots fired nearby. They exited their cruiser to investigate. Moments later, they encountered an individual in the 1000 block of East Avenue. The body-worn camera footage shows the officers pursuing the individual on foot. Seconds later, one officer discharges his firearm. Body-worn cameras do not provide a 360-degree or three-dimensional view. We will now play 3 body-worn camera videos and 1 in-car video.
So I thought I should explain what that is for people who don't understand that message. Right here, I can tell you. So it says here, no audio for 30 seconds of buffered video prior to camera activation. What that is when they press that button on their body cam, it activates the camera. But I think these cameras are sort of always, they're sort of always rolling, but they're not active. And when that happens, it's pulling memory from the RAM, and that memory is already there. So the memory is the video. So that's why when you often watch these police videos, the first little bit is like no audio, and then you see them touch the button, and then everything turns on. And it's because it's pulling it out of the buffer memory on the device. So here we go. They light up the red and blues. They pull over, and they're like, "Oi, look, a guy." There we go, another buffer here. So he like fired and then pressed the button, if you saw that.
Stop moving. Stop moving.
Put your hands out to your side.
Put your hands up.
Get back online on me. On me. Put your hands out.
Put your hands up. Hands out to side.
Signals 21. Hold on him.
Put your hands
Block
out to your
southbound.
side. Hands out to
Northbound
side.
traffic. Push out to the right. Nope. On me. Push out to the right. He was reaching right with his right hand.
We're in front of the school on East Avenue. Go south.
Again, he was reaching with his right hand.
There you go. You hear the officer say, reaching with the right hand. But you can see that if we go back just a touch, so we're at 3:14. If we go back just a touch here, before he touches his chest and activates that camera, he already fires. Should be just here. No. So he runs up and he says he reaches, at least in the audio, but before he even touches his chest, he lets those bullets go. There you go. Fires off like I think that was 3 or 4 rounds. So go back to 3:14.
Again, he was reaching with his right hand. We need someone to check the parking lot behind us. That's where he was shooting.
Okay. We need you guys to
Push to the right.
Yep, hold on. Where is there anybody else behind you?
Not that I seen.
I didn't see anybody in the parking lot coming up.
Hands out to the side.
Push to the right. We need that backstop.
Put your hands out to the side.
Push to the right.
Push to the right.
Again, he was reaching with his right hand.
Hands out to your side, suspect.
Right here. Stop right here. Put your hands out to your side. Hey, 2 of you.
So you must be thinking, what the hell is going on here right now? And why are we watching this video? All right, I'll take you to the news report and now I'll explain what's actually going on. So this was the news report out of the ABC on it. This is not the original one. There was one that was released, I think it was a couple of weeks ago. Here, Thanksgiving night. They say officials released body cam video of police shooting that killed a 15-year-old Ohio boy. They say the mayor and police chief in an Ohio city where a 15-year-old boy was fatally shot by police on Thanksgiving night said the body cam video raises questions that must be addressed. Yeah, no activation before firing. Like, there's no hesitation here. It's just, kill a kid. They said the mayor and police chief, police have said Jasmine Tucker was carrying a loaded weapon when he was shot. They said 2 patrol officers heard nearby gunshots just after 11 p.m. on November 28 and got out of their parked cruiser to investigate. They encountered Tucker and ran after him. One of the officers then fired from his long gun, striking the teen, who was given first aid and then taken to a hospital where he was pronounced dead. No officers were injured in the shooting. The video released by police on Thursday lacks some of the details that often factor into police shooting investigations. The shooting officer's arms and long guns block his camera view, obscuring whatever Tucker was doing in the moments before the shooting. Another officer's camera, however, recorded police unzipping the jacket pocket of the mortally wounded teenager and pulling out a handgun. The roughly 8-minute video also began without sound for 30 seconds, a feature that happens each time an officer activates the camera. It was during this time that the officer chased Tucker, raised his rifle, and fired at him for about 3 seconds, shooting roughly 7 times. Well, it was more than I thought. I counted 4, but yeah, they're saying 7. Once the sound begins, that officer and others are heard yelling at Tucker, who was on the ground, repeatedly telling the unresponsive teen to raise his hands. How exactly do you want someone who you just shot to raise their hands? It's like going to a funeral home and saying, "Everyone, hands up. It's a robbery." It doesn't work that way. They're saying here between 8 and 10 officers ultimately converged on Tucker about 7 minutes after he was shot. They left him sitting there for about 10 minutes, is what I've read. At that point, he was handcuffed and officers searched his pockets. Police haven't released details about what any of the officers did to try save his life. In statements issued by the mayor, and the Akron police chief, after the video was released Thursday night, they said the recording left him with many questions, including why officers didn't immediately turn on their body-worn cameras after leaving their cruiser, and why it took so long for officers to provide first aid to Tucker. They said, in hindsight, the amount of time that expired between the shooting and the initiation of physical aid is deeply troubling. The police chief stressed that the case is in its early stages, and that my hope is that the investigation will provide more clarity. Our community, our department, and most importantly, his family, the victim's family, Jasmia, need answers to those questions. The chief also expressed condolences to the family from Maple Heights, about 30 miles outside of Akron. He described the shooting as an outcome none of us wished to see. Speaking during a news conference with the family's lawyer, Tucker's relatives said they are devastated by his death. Ashley Green said her son was a great kid. His great aunt, Connie Sutton, described him as a child who was always laughing. They say everyone loved Jazz, and Jazz loved everyone else. The officer who fired the shots has been on the force for nearly 5 years. He and his partner were placed on paid administrative leave per department policy, and their names have not been released. So they're running an investigation into this particular officer-involved shooting. Yeah, let's see if we can see that other angle that they're talking about. Let's go back to the footage here. Let's see if we can find that other angle that they... It's not that one. Okay, video number 2. This is the second one. Another audio buffer. Yeah, it is really hard to see what exactly is going on in front of them. Having those weapons.
Stop moving! Put your hands out to your side!
Put your hands up.
Get back online on me.
Yeah, the weapon and their arms obscure the camera view of what is in front of them, just like it said. All right, what's the other view? Let's see what's here. They go over here. Okay, video number 3. Looks like they're in a cruiser. And they're taken off. Blurring their console, obviously.
Stop moving.
Stop moving.
Put your hands out to your side.
Put your hands up.
Get back line on me. On me. Put your hands out.
Put your hands up.
Hands out your side.
That's probably the best view, but you can't really see anything. It's whatever's happened has already happened. It's already taken place. You can't see anything. Let's go down here. Let's see if we got a fourth view. Yeah. This bit may be distressing to watch. This is where they actually pick him up. Hold on.
Let me know you guys got 2 hands.
We got 2 hands.
Slow down, William.
Yep. Akron Police Department, put your hands out to the side. Yep. Akron Police Department, put your hands out to the side.
Oh. I got hands.
Yep.
Hands.
Okay. You got hands.
I got hands.
Okay. Watch your crosshair. Yep. Yep.
I got hands. Hold on. Secure his hands first. Secure his hands first.
I noticed in this bit here, that kid is fully limp. He's not responsive at all. You can tell when they pick up his arms, there's no resistance or anything like that. That kid's, they're like, put your hands up. The dude's like dead. And then you can see there's actually blood on his underwear here, a little bit of blood droplets on his underwear down here. Maybe from his hands, I'm not sure.
Something is right here. I'm not sure what it is. Gun. No. Flashlight.
Got 2 bunk M&As. Got any of
Yep.
them?
Yep. Got a gun.
Got any?
Got a no.
High back kid. We got to make it.
Got a gun.
Drop it down. Put it down. Put it down.
Don't flag yourself.
Yeah, just leave it. Get a search.
So the kid had what looks like, I know what that thing is, not the weapon, the other thing, because I seen them on Temu. It's a hair shaver. It's for shaving hair, like my style, like under here. It's a hair shaver. Here, see if they pick it up. That golden thing here, I'm pretty sure that's a Temu hair shaver. I could probably find you the exact one. And there's a weapon here with quite a long, what's the correct word for it? It's not, they're like, don't use the word clip, whatever it is. I'm not sure. Magazine, I don't know. I'm not a gun person, but it has quite an extended. See, look, that holds quite a lot of ammunition for this tiny little handgun.
Put it down.
Put it down. Don't flag yourself.
Yeah, just leave it. Get a search of them. Make sure there's no other secondary weapon.
Gun right here.
Here goes. Everybody needs to do that. Everybody needs to do. Walk and you all the way down. Remember, search for weapons. No weapons this time.
Okay.
Jacket, under jacket. Use second jacket.
Okay, let me get some shoes.
Right here.
I got shoes. I got shoes.
Yep.
Taking a bite.
There's the white shoe
EMS is here.
His face.
EMS is nothing.
Still here. Don't let it start on itself.
It took an awfully long time to try and start any type of resuscitation or first aid. I don't know why. I'm not going to bitch and complain about the officers. I'm just saying I don't know why that would take so long, especially when you know you have struck that individual. Even when they cut off his shirt and all that at the end there, it's an extraordinary amount of time. When you're dealing with someone who's been shot and possibly through a vital organ or something, those minutes before you start resuscitation or oxygen, getting them into a theater, a hospital, they count. They all count. Like, he may have been dead as a doornail, who knows? But those minutes matter to making someone live from this type of incident. I would like to know more about the firearm and why a 15-year-old is walking around with a firearm with that type of ammunition. Like, why would you need that? And that is a question that needs to be answered. Um, Sounds like you're very busy, Sherry. Let me see. Kathleen says my question disappeared. Yeah, I don't see anything from you. Let me see if I scroll back. No, I don't see anything. No. Rachel said, I think they had to do a full clear for weapons. They did, but it took them 10 minutes to approach him to do that clearance for weapons. So those minutes, that's what I'm talking about, where minutes matter. I don't know why it takes that long. Maybe there's some procedural thing that they have to get done. I don't know. Reporting a shooting, I don't know. Cops have to do that type of stuff. Yeah, so pretty bad case. Let me see what else I can find here. Yeah, I would like to know more about why he had a handgun, and if they heard gunshots, what was that kid doing just firing in public? So I think there's a lot of questions still here between why that kid had to die, why he had a firearm in the first place, and questions around the response and how it could be done differently if the situation arised in the future. Let me take you over here to Fox 8. Here, they say, according to the family, they say they are devastated and feel helpless. Her 15-year-old son was shot and killed by Akron police on Thanksgiving night as police were investigating the sound of gunfire on East Avenue near Miller South School. And she says she's extremely hurt that I couldn't help my baby. It hurt me to see that no one helped my baby. There's other questions we need to answer, though. Green said that she and her family are seeking answers from the city of Akron and the Akron Police Department for why her son is now dead. Police had never addressed us, she said. I had to find out that was my son through social media. The family is being represented by the Cochran firm, Ohio's Robert Gresham and Stanley Jackson. They say these officers clearly engaged Jazz with aggressive intent. The Akron Police Department had a total disregard for the humanity of Jazz. They failed to provide timely aid, which is in direct violation of their own use of force policy. And they said they're within a few feet of him. He's not moving. That's intentional. 10 minutes. They're saying it was a long time. Akron police were investigating the sound of gunfire on Thanksgiving on East Avenue. The body camera footage was not activated immediately by responding officers, so there is no audio of the first 30 seconds of the footage shared by the police department. In that footage, you can see an officer open fire with a rifle, shooting multiple rounds at the suspect. It's hard to see the suspect with the bright lights being shined on the suspect since it's happened at night. After he was shot, he was handcuffed and searched. Tucker was found to be in possession of a semi-automatic handgun with an extended magazine. The gun was found in a zipped breast pocket of his coat with other items such as hair clippers and a phone charger. According to police, 2 shell casings were found nearby, and investigators are working to see if the casings were fired by the same weapon that Tucker had. Gresham would not provide details on why Tucker was carrying a weapon. they say, we won't speak to that necessarily because what's important here is that by all accounts and the evidence we have before us, these officers had no idea he had a weapon on him based on where they found it. It's an interesting point. Like, why did they open fire on him when they didn't have a positive confirmation that it was him that was the shooter? So, or had been firing earlier. That is an interesting thing. Oh, well, now you know. Oh, he died. He died. Let me see here. As far as I know, that like that article said, they are still doing ballistic forensic tests on the weapon and the shell casings to find out if the gun they found on the 15-year-old boy who died, if it's the same gun that matches the casings they found nearby. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they decided to fire on him. He could have been running from the shooter, maybe. Were there other teens with him? Not that I know of. Not that I've heard. It was a pretty, it was Thanksgiving evening. Most people are probably at home or, somewhere somewhere on a couch watching the football. Let me see if I can find anything else from the mum. Yeah, let's go to News 5 in Cleveland. Yeah, News 5 Cleveland, yeah.
I'm Remy Murray, where about a dozen protesters are gathered here on West Mill Street and South Main Street in Akron to demand justice and accountability from Akron Police Department following the shooting death of 15-year-old Jasmine Tucker. Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! This roundabout in Akron is the center of attention as these protesters gather once again to voice their concerns.
Well, a 15-year-old boy got shot in my hometown over Thanksgiving weekend.
What protesters and Apostle Jimmy Rogers of Good Hope Ministries says is even more upsetting is how it happened.
When APD has taken matters into their own hands, and rather than having an opportunity to wait and see and look, it seems like they're just taking an opportunity to just shoot and kill.
The community says they hope to have more answers once police release body camera video of 15-year-old Jasmine Tucker being shot and killed by an Akron police officer on Thanksgiving night. But instead, it has left even more questions and concerns, leading to Friday's protest where you could hear demonstrators chanting 15-year-old Jasmine Tucker's name.
Here we are again with another innocent life that has been lost. And I believe that we need to come together as a community, as a pastor in the community, and pastors need to rally together to make the community more aware of what's going on.
Rogers' call to raise awareness is something Reverend Jalan Finney says he agrees needs to be done, especially as it marks just a little more than 2 years since Jalen Walker was shot and killed by 8 Akron police officers in June 2022.
In 2004, I experienced the same thing with my father, and countless others, families, had to go through the same thing that me and my family do. So I'm committed to be involved.
By being involved, Finney hopes this will enforce accountability and a sense of unity in Akron.
Till something really is done to handle the systematic issues that's in this city and countless other cities.
I would want to see the footage of where he reaches for the gun. If you can provide that footage, if the police can somehow, from a different camera or something, then at least they have some sort of a defense. They could say, look, he was reaching for that weapon in that pocket. But if you can't provide that, then do they have an authorization to fire upon him? Like, do they have an authorization to use lethal force against him? And I got to think no. I got to think they don't. Unless, you can't just shoot because you want to. There's certain rules that you have to follow, especially as a police officer with lethal force that, we're seeing other officers hold before the court for murder charges over the last 5 or 10 years. There's been some very famous ones, including That one we read about earlier this year, cops went to the wrong house, shot and killed a woman inside. There was another one where they went to a different property, where the person inside had no idea the cops were coming to that property, and he thought someone was trying to break in, and then they shot and killed him through the door. Both had nothing, they didn't do anything wrong, they just wrong properties. So it's concerning, and you could feel how maybe these people think it's some sort of like racial profiling, that, oh, he's a black guy, he's definitely going to shoot us. And I don't know, I feel like there is sort of two sides to the story that need to be explained. They need to show that footage if they can find it of him reaching for a gun. If they can't, then their defense is really piss poor. If they can, then that's a different story. But at the same time, we have to find out why a 15-year-old is walking around with a semi-automatic with an extended magazine on it just round town on Thanksgiving. That's a question that needs to be answered too. You know, it goes both ways. You have to go and look at this from both sides. Carolina says, I would never be a cop because I'm not good at staying calm. But just because somebody's reaching, you can't shoot. Right. Yeah, like that it wasn't even 30 seconds because he pressed the button on that on the body cam way late, like really far late, after he'd already fired on him, and then he's like, oh, the camera. So that we didn't get to hear what happened earlier. It's concerning. It is. And you know, there's a lot of police out there that do a really hard job. I fully get that. You can say, well, you're not the one going out there every day being shot at by everyone, and I get that side of it too. But you know, it doesn't it doesn't exempt you from following the law, and it doesn't exempt you, you know, from just killing people. You have to follow your own policies and procedure. Glitter says they came in. Yeah, I know. In Akron, we have read some interesting stories from that region over the last many months. We've done very interesting, a lot of interesting things happen there apparently. All right, I wanted to show you that because that's coming out of Ohio this evening. I think that footage was released this morning. I wanted to at least show it to you. Kathy Lynch says, why don't they keep their body cam on at all times? I don't know. Procedural? I have no idea why they don't. Probably because they're like, I don't want to be recorded while I'm taking a piss. I don't know. You need some headphones so you can ignore people, Sherry. Glitter says, maybe I could understand if they saw gunfire or something. Yeah, they only heard gunfire. All right. All right. I know that was a very divisive topic, but can't hide from the news of the world. Can't hide from it. It happens, and you know, it is what it is. All right, let's head over here. All right. I want to talk about let's talk about the CEO thing for just a minute. I know Trish covered it, so I don't want to do too much on it. But I do want to talk about what happened overnight because I find this very interesting. So there was a couple of updates since I last saw you yesterday. One is that they think they found the backpack in the park. It has gone for testing, but I was very interested in a remark that they had. They said that they didn't even open it and sent it straight to the lab. Why would you do that if you have a guy who went through extensive planning to kill the CEO of a health insurance company? What if he booby trapped the backpack and then, you know, they take it to the lab and they open it and it goes kaboom? I mean, shouldn't you clear the object first and then send it to an internal office or whatever? I feel like that might be very dangerous. So they're saying they gave a fresh update about what was this, about 2-3 hours ago. They said 2 NYPD sources have told CNN they now believe they are honing in on identifying the suspect in the killing of Thompson. The outlet reported that investigators are working to track his whereabouts after he fled the city after murdering the CEO. Now, I heard that he went down to a place that is the big bus terminal in the city, and they never saw him leave. They have him on camera going in there, but not leaving the area. So they believe he may have left on a bus, just like the way he went in there. Like, so he took a Greyhound, to the city, to New York. And they said that from that particular location, there's only 3 places that Greyhound go to from that area. I think it's like Philadelphia. Uh, there's a couple others. Don't ask Ping. I don't know geography outside of New York, but there's only 3 places it can go to. So if he took the same bus line back out, it may be that he's only going to three types of cities. Let me see if I can find that video for you. Hold on. Here. Yeah, here. Let's go to CBS Chicago.
Right now, police believe the suspect in the shooting death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson has left New York City. And we're getting insight into how he may have made his escape. Suzanne Lemonnier has been following developments in the case all day and joins us now from the newsroom. Suzanne?
Joe, the search for the gunman has now led detectives to New Jersey and Connecticut. The CEO was murdered Wednesday. I spoke to former 25-year NYPD veteran and former Chicago police superintendent Gary McCarthy, who says even though time has passed, there are still lots of leads coming in. We're also learning new information about the man's movements from New York police. The suspect is seen leaving the area of the shooting on a bike wearing a distinctive backpack while riding into Central Park. Minutes later, he's seen without the backpack, heading down a city street.
We have a huge canvas going on in Central Park. We still have not found the backpack. And so we're doing a full sweep of Central Park to find that backpack, which we believe he dropped in Central Park. We're using manpower, but we're also using our drones.
Police say he then leaves the bike behind and hails a taxi to the Port Authority bus terminal. There's video of him entering, but not leaving.
We would appreciate you getting that photo out to your audience because we also have reason to believe that the person in question has left New York City. So we want a wider audience to see the picture outside of New York City.
It's also been revealed these images of the shooter not wearing a mask came about during a flirtatious moment with a clerk checking him into a New York City hostel, where he used a fake New Jersey ID to stay in room 407. The woman asked to, quote, see his pretty smile. And that's when he lowered his mask, revealing his face.
We had to go through lots of video evidence to get that one money shot of him with the mask down.
It was also revealed today the man in these surveillance images traveled from Atlanta to New York on November 24th on a Greyhound bus.
Now they have to go back and look at every stop that bus might have made on its way to New York City to try and pick up something of how this guy got here.
Former Chicago Police Superintendent Gary McCarthy was also the former deputy commissioner of the NYPD.
There's no doubt in my mind that they're going to solve this. New York City has some remarkable detectives.
McCarthy.
Yeah, that guy was also saying that apparently the track he took seemed like he was trying to throw investigators off the entire time because he would go in one direction and sort of circle back and then head in a different place. He was saying it's possible that he made it to the Port Authority and maybe hopped on a train line even, maybe not a bus. Hold on, guys. Who's messaging me? Sorry, someone's messaging. Hold on. Oh, okay. It's for Mrs. Ping's nails for the wedding. That's who messaged me. They're like, hey, we'll see you Monday. Won't see me. One Direction. Yeah. No longer a band. Glitter says, I think the blonde lady looks like the first pic we saw of him. Nah. I don't know. You think it's a woman, not a man? Is that what you're saying? I mean, it could be. I think it's been described as a guy though, but who knows? Who knows? Hold on, let me try and pick up that photo. Oh, they've issued a new reward. How much is it? Of course they have. Where is it? New reward for information. Oh, here we go. Dun dun dun. The FBI. What are they saying? A $50,000 reward for information is now on offer. Wow, they were quick with that. First 10 grand, now 50 grand. They're definitely what an albino. Danny says it's a man. Yeah, I thought so. The reward has been lowered from 50 grand or from 500,000. I wouldn't be surprised if they put up $1 million reward for this. I find it interesting that the FBI is so concerned because they were on a radio show earlier today saying that the tip line is so busy with this particular case that they don't have enough detectives to run down every single phone call that they're getting in. So, I find that interesting that they want to offer more money when apparently they're not slowing down on, like, normally they offer a reward when they're not getting any information. But according to someone speaking on behalf of the FBI and the New York City police, they have so many tips coming in, they can't handle it. So I don't know. You tell me. FBI joins investigation. There we go. Cops give fresh update. Yeah, we already knew this last night. Hey, there's a photo I used last night of the weapon. There we go. Yeah, they're just talking about how that might be a VP gun, as Sean called it, to kill animals. And they're saying, yeah, he's on the run. Hold on, let me see if I can find that one that they were talking about the Port Authority. Give me 1 second. YouTube. I was watching it before we jumped on. This one. I watch far too many videos. Hold on. No, not Gordon Ramsay. I was watching something on the UK about the knife crime over there because I often try and keep on top of it, what's going on and, what they're doing to try and solve it. But seems like a lot of young people are getting killed over there with knives, including these type of knives called a zombie knife. What that is, I'm not entirely sure, except that they look really giant and they look like they would hurt if you got hit by it. Yeah, this one here.
And good evening. New clues tonight, a potential major discovery, but the manhunt for the gunman who shot and killed United Healthcare CEO now stretching into its third day. At this hour, the public still doesn't know the killer's identity, and now police believe he's left New York City, meaning he could be anywhere. But late today, a key piece of evidence may have been found. We're just learning that gray backpack has been located in Central Park. The NYPD had deployed drones, as you see a team here doing just that to help in the search. Police now working to find out if it's the same bag used by the suspected shooter. Also new today, authorities believe the person of interest you see here may have left the city through a busy bus terminal. Right now, police are tracing the suspect's steps and combing through security cam video, hoping it will help track him down. The targeted attack sending shockwaves across the entire industry. Medica, a Minnesota-based health insurer, shutting down its campus as a result of the murder. And healthcare provider Centene releasing this message. Quote, in the wake of the tragic loss of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, Centene's Investor Day will now be hosted virtually. A number of companies, including the ones you see right here.
By the way, the new person that they have put in as CEO of United Health was apparently bitching in a private video or address to their people, saying that the coverage of the prior CEO's death was, it was just, abusive. It's like over the top. You sure? You sure about that? It's not, appropriate for the situation of someone being killed in New York City that's, a high profile person. I think it's pretty adequate. I think adequate is the word, not, he was saying how like, oh, our company's suffering. Dude, you be careful. They just named you as CEO. Maybe you're next, who knows? Like I'd be keeping my mouth shut if they gave me that position after the CEO. Yeah, it is. It depends what we're talking about, but yeah, sometimes. Wendy R says, yeah, he had some knowledge of the city for sure. Kathy Lynch says, I'm going to quit commenting. YouTube hates me. I think they just hate my chat. They've started clamping down on what we can talk about. He's not worried at all. I'd be so worried. I'd be like, I don't want the job. I don't want it. I want to go work for a different company. It does not sound like that guy is grieving the last CEO. It doesn't. They're all just like angry that why are you focusing on our company? Why would you do such a thing? Because the other guy got killed? Yeah. Apparently, a bunch of other health companies are now really worried and they've started removing high level executives from their websites, like from their masthead on their website. They've started removing it from the public view. So if you go to a lot of these companies that you see on the screen right now, you won't be able to find who runs the company. Yeah, they removed a bunch of them. Apparently, all these companies here
are now removing their leadership pages from their websites. We have a lot to get to tonight. NBC's Sam Brock starts off our coverage.
Even with a growing trove of images captured on camera connected to the brazen and targeted killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson Wednesday morning, tonight, no suspect has been named by the NYPD. And New York City's police commissioner, Jessica Tisch, said in an interview with CNN, she believes the person of interest in the case has escaped Manhattan.
We have released the photo yesterday. We would appreciate you getting that photo out to your audience because we also have reason to believe that the person in question has left New York City.
Tisch telling CNN the NYPD has a massive camera canvas as well as a combination of fingerprints and DNA evidence. The department's chief of detectives, Joseph Kenny, said to CNN that surveillance video allowed them to track the shooter's whereabouts from the crime scene up to Central Park, where he traveled on a bike, exiting the park at West 77th Street.
Eventually, we have him on 86th Street and Columbus Avenue walking. He loses the bike. And then from there, we have him in a taxi cab, and the taxi cab takes him up to 178th Street and Broadway, which, as we know, is a Port Authority bus center. Those buses are interstate buses. That's why we believe he may have left New York City.
Those officials noting there is video of the man entering the station, but not leaving, which is why police believe he was on a bus out of the city and that they don't know which bus he was on.
You would think a giant bus terminal would have like 50 million cameras, considering it's one of the largest like intersecting points of people coming and going from New York. That there's been a lot of crimes that happen there. Even the Long Island serial killer has ties to the Port Authority. So I am confused about that. Another detective said that there's also a train station underneath the Port Authority or something where you can get to it, and he may not have been seen accessing that train line. But I would have thought they had cameras too. So I don't know, but it's interesting. She has no eyebrows. She also changed her speaking halfway through. I don't know if you picked it up, but she sounded American for like half of it. And then for a few words at the end, she almost sounded Australian. And I was like, is she Australian? I was like, that's weird. Maybe she likes to put on an Aussie accent for dinner parties. Glitter says all those CEOs are on LinkedIn and all over the internet. They like to boast. Yep. Let's see. Buses don't check you for weapons. I don't know about trains. Don't they often like run operations where they bring in the sniffer dogs? I've heard of people being arrested on buses, like interstate type buses or coaches, where people try and traffic drugs between different cities because they don't use the train or airports because they're more highly regulated, that they'll use the buses, and often they run operations. So I don't know if they would check you for a weapon, but I would suspect that there's enough cops around that they may have seen something. You think she's in on it? It's a multi-level marketing scheme. It's all to get us to buy more health insurance. Wendy says, I don't guess he is the only person killed in New York recently. Not that much fuss or even mention being made over the other victims. That is a very interesting point. I actually had heard some pushback from people that were saying, if he wasn't the CEO of this company, would anyone have really cared? And I was like, that's a good point. If he was just, and the other thing is, why did they issue a reward so quickly when there's other families that have had missing people, dead loved ones that have been, a year, 2 years, and they've never been offered a reward for their loved ones, case or whatever. So it's interesting how different people are treated. And if he wasn't worth billions of dollars, they would have just been like, more news at 11, a white guy got shot in downtown New York. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Lula, hey Lula. Lula says that station goes about 3 floors underground. It is immense. Yeah, I think that's what they were talking about, is that if he had somehow got to that train station, he wouldn't necessarily have had to take in a bus to get out, that he could have got on a train line and gone to a different part of New York or over the river. He could have gone into New Jersey. So, yeah, a lot of traffic children. Kaliza says you only count if you're rich and connected. Bonus points if you're a middle-aged white man. Am I a middle-aged white man? I think I am. Damn it. If I go missing, they're going to offer a reward for me. Brandy Neal has made a plea to all media to get Monkey Vaughn case back in the spotlight. Didn't we do like a big show on him recently? I think we did. I get it. I think it'd be nice to have a resolution for that case. Maybe we can do something on it during the week for sure. I'm always willing to help his mum. I've spoken to Brandy before. That's really sad. I didn't know that. She wants to see if she can get answers before, unfortunately, if she gets very ill. Yeah, I get it. But am I rich and connected? No, I'm not. I'm not rich or connected, but I am a middle-aged white guy. Should I be more angry about stuff? What if I had no hair? Would that help? Would that help if I was balding a little bit? Would that get me some points? All right. Let's watch the rest of the video.
One possible break in the case coming late today after police launched a drone search over Manhattan Central Park looking for the backpack worn by the shooter. A gray bag was located, according to 2 senior law enforcement officials. Investigators now looking to see if it is the bag used by the suspected shooter. Police officials hopeful that releasing this image of the person of interest, the only visual revealing his face, will lead to tips from those who know him. The snapshots coming from a hostel on Manhattan's Upper West Side, where, according to a senior law enforcement official, the man only took his mask down in order to flirt with an employee at the hostel's front desk. The images essential to NYPD's efforts to establish an identity through facial recognition to help solve a calculated murder that's also rattled an entire industry.
This is so unprecedented. It has really made a lot of executives very much on edge.
The insurance sector now making dramatic changes. Some leading companies taking profiles and information about their top executives off public websites, with CVS Health confirming they did just that. Insurance company Centene, with a late pivot, also moving its in-person investor conference scheduled for next week to virtual. Bertha Coombs is CNBC's senior healthcare reporter.
A number of companies are not wanting to talk about it, understandably, because they also don't want to exacerbate the conversation. But they are very much concerned, and they're very much concerned about the type of discussion that has been happening online.
Vitriol.
I love it. All the healthcare companies are like, "Oh my god, all those years of pissing off our customers and not, not approving their claims. They're finally fighting back. What do we do? What do we do? Do we all just try and huddle together and try save our companies?" It's funny. Um, that is very sad to hear. I really hope she gets that transplant. Liver transplant, I heard, is actually one of the most easiest ones to get. Luckily, which is it's pretty common and it's fairly easy to get one. I've heard. I hope she gets it, and I hope it is successful for her. That is not very nice, especially she still doesn't have answers what happened to her kid. So it's pretty terrible. She used to come in the chat all the time when we're at Web Sleuth. She used to come in all the time talking about uh, Monkey all the time. She used to come in like every night, and she'd come in and ask us to talk about him or do a show on him again. She was in there quite frequently, so I've spoken to her a few times. It's sad to hear that news, though.
And frustration with the health insurance industry over denied claims spilling out on social media in the wake of Thompson's murder. Security and protection firms say across industries, executives and companies are calling for help.
This rocked the soul of the industry. It really did.
Matthew Dumper runs Kroll's Enterprise Security Risk Management.
Our phones are ringing off the hook and our email inboxes are flooded with folks that we have a relationship with and those that are reaching out to establish a dialogue.
Sam Brock joins us live tonight from Midtown Manhattan. Sam, let's go back to the investigation and the manhunt. A lot of details tonight, a lot of new information. What more do we know about that backpack that's been found?
Yeah, certainly, Tom, you can understand why the backpack is of paramount importance. Two senior law enforcement officials maintain the fact right now that we do not know yet whether that gray backpack did in fact belong to the shooter or not, that it's being sent out to the lab for testing more than likely, and also that it wouldn't just be opened up and dumped out in the middle of the park when you consider what might be inside of it, whether that's a firearm or writings, computers, communications, anything along those lines, that you have fingerprints and DNA that could potentially be tested. They are going to be extremely delicate with that. Also, Tom, we're learning that the backpack was discovered somewhere near where the suspect fled on his bicycle. And you heard from the chief of detectives earlier that he was last spotted on 77th Street on the bike. And it wasn't until about 10 blocks later on 86th and Columbus that he had shed it. Where exactly in the park, we have not exactly pinpointed, but it does seem like somewhere in that region is where investigators may have uncovered that backpack.
Another FBI guy was on, or ex-FBI, was on TV today, and he said, you see this guy here on the show going, they might be able to get all sorts of great things to identify him and hold him accountable. The FBI guy was like, this guy went to so much planning. Do you really think he left his wallet in the backpack with his name and his birth certificate? And the FBI guy was like, it probably has nothing that'll help the investigation. It probably just has maybe the firearm and maybe a couple of other things, but he's like, it's not going to really help. And I was like, wow, someone that's actually honest about what it might do for the investigation. He was like, basically, it doesn't do anything. Like, it's good to have, but it's not going to have his wallet or a photo ID in it. And he's like, it's really minuscule. Everyone's like, it's a big break in the case, and he's like, it's really not. Marlon Clausen says the guy is being treated by the average people as a Robin Hood type. Yeah, I think that's a good way of explaining it. So I heard two really weird descriptions. Somebody said that he didn't wear gloves, and then one of the official descriptions they put out was that he was wearing gloves. So I find that, did he put them on later or something? It's a little strange. Here. Let's see. There's a photo of that backpack. I want to show it to you. There it is. So there's the backpack they found. It does look very similar. Yeah, I would be very worried that there could be something in it. I don't know why they just bundled it up and then shipped it off to the forensic lab. Those poor people in the forensic lab, they're like, okay, let's process this evidence. And they open it up and it's full of like anthrax. And then they all, you know, you got to be careful. Yeah, I know. I don't know why those two different descriptions went out. The cost of all future security measures will be passed on to the policyholders. I know, yeah, that security guy on the interview saying, "Oh, our phone's been ringing off the hook and we have emails everywhere about people wanting protection in the health industry." Why exactly? Do you think there's 50 other people like this about to attack you? It's one guy. I'm sure, like, I think you'll be fine. Angela says it might have been clear latex gloves. Could have been. Maybe that's why we couldn't see it. Yeah. This guy's just about sensationalism. There you go. There's the map. Here, let me get rid of this. So that's when he gets on the shooting happens. He gets on the e-bike, rides into Central Park, exits the park with the bike but no backpack. And then they see him on 86th Street without the bike. So he dumped the bike at one point. He got in a taxi and went up to the Port Authority bus center up here, pretty far downtown. So downtown, uptown, I don't know. Oh, wait. Ping. What the fuck? Come on. There you go. There we go. Sorry. StreamYard is a bugger sometimes. Copycats often happen in the US. Look, I think it's been brewing for years. I think people are sick of being taken advantage of in the healthcare sector. It's especially with the cost of living going on right now. You know, people have just had enough. It's like the petrol went up, our rent went up, the electricity went up, the healthcare went up, like the healthcare insurance went up, the doctors have put their fees up, the freaking groceries have gone through the roof. Everyone's like, when is enough enough? Like, when is the government or someone going to try and rein this in instead of just being like, we're all fine here in our $1 million homes and our $1 million severance packages that we get every year. Everyone else, just don't fight each other and we'll get through this together. Like, that's basically the message. Even here in Australia, our government's done nothing. They're like, oh, you know, we don't really want to do anything because if we do, we might cause more inflation. So we don't want to like help anyone out because it might contribute to more inflation. So we're going to let you suffer instead. Glitter says, I think it's a decoy backpack. Too easy, just laying there like so perfect. Maybe. Yeah, I've heard it's bonkers over there. I mean, we're lucky that we don't have to do it here. Skyrocketing costs are messing up everyone's life. I can tell you, so this wedding, the wedding we're going this week, actually, it's only a few days away now when we fly out. I spent from about August saving up for it, right? And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I got enough money, like, it'll be okay." And I got to yesterday, and I went through everything that we still gotta pay for the cats, gotta pay for, you know, taxi to the airport, that type of thing. And I was like, "I don't know if we're gonna make it, like, for real." I was like, like, I saved up thousands of dollars, we're going to this stupid wedding. And I was like, I don't know if we're gonna make it all the way there and back. And I was telling Mrs. Ping, I was like, where does the money go? It's not like we overbought, like we bought everything on sale during the Black Friday things. We're very thrifty. We don't overspend or anything. It's just ridiculous. It's just everything's gone up. And it's like, so you still have to pay your bills and things. I have to pay my net bill, my electricity, water, but they all just creep up. And then it's like, well, there's an extra $150 that this time last year you would have had spare. And then, you know, services put it up. So I get it, you guys. I get what it's like. Marlene Clausen said the entire market took a beating today because of a very good jobs report. There's also a website where you can see how US Congress are investing and selling stocks. It's called Capital Trades. Oh, okay. I'll have to have a look. Glitter said landlords doubled rent in the last year or so around here. So a lot still won't repair needed repairs. Yeah, we get that here where they're very happy to take your money and put the rent up, but they won't fix things that have been there since like you moved in. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I get it just like you guys. It's crazy out there right now. That's why it makes me really mad when there's some creators out there that bitch and complain about making 10, 15 grand a month. And I'm like, are you joking? Like, you're in the top like 10% of earners probably in your area, and you're like crying about it. Lisa says it's hot and I have no aircon. It is boiling hot. It is. What is it right now in Melbourne? It's only 25, but it's really humid. Let me check out the humidity. Yeah, it's like 70% humidity down here. So, yeah, hot and humid. Yeah, I wish I could tell you who that was, but I made a pledge not to name other channels, so I won't. But I can tell you that people do that. Yeah, that's true, Lisa. Marlene says, I'm very good landlord. You cannot increase rent in PA more than 25% per year and make repairs. That's pretty good. That's, guys, I know. I'm not asking you for anything. I'm just saying I get it too. I'm just a normal person. I have the same pressures that you guys do. It's just one of those things. And I think like that's why everyone's rallying against trying to find this guy, because they see the same thing, and they're like, these fat cats, and they're posting you know record profits of $800 million a year, and they're all sitting back on their yachts sipping champagne and stuff, and the average person out there can barely pay their rent, and they're them in the stock market, they're all celebrating it. It really is grotesque. Kathleen says the rising rents are why we are turning our garage into an apartment. That's a good idea. It's very clever. Yeah, I get it. I really see it too. Oh, freezing. Yeah, I've had some good landlords. I've had some crappy ones. There's a mixture. Some of them are good people. Some of them are just there for the money. It depends who you get and like who they are. Some we've had really, really good ones, and the lady I had before I moved here was a total biatch. She was a real see you in the NT. She upped our rent consistently, told me that water was included, and then 18 months later told me that water wasn't included and asked me to back pay her for almost 2 years worth of water, and she wanted it within 4 weeks. It was like $800, and she's like, I want that within a month before the next rent is due. And I was like, so you call me out of the blue and tell me that so all of a sudden that water is not included and it was a mistake, and you want me to repay you, and you want it on a timeline. She was a real nasty piece of work. Yeah. And she didn't repair anything. We had stuff when we moved in that was broken like the day I moved in, and she didn't repair it in the 5 years I lived there. Only after I moved out did they put any effort into repairing anything. And then they tried to tell me that I did it, and that if I didn't fix it, that they were going to take my bond. And I was like, if you try and do that, I will 100% take you to the court, and I will show them evidence of the emails sent, the photos I sent, the condition report. I said, if you try and touch my bond, I will drag your asses through the court without a hesitation. And then they went, oh, okay. And they released my bond. Kathleen says, yeah, I like that idea. It's a great idea for your son. Marlene says, people get a lease, never take word of mouth. Also had the same renters for 10 years. I've had, like I said, I've had some good landlords and some crap ones. Yes, I know. Yeah. There was a bit of a backstory. So, when I moved into that apartment, the company was different, and then it changed. They got bought out by a bigger company, and during that process, something happened, and they lost all the condition reports from years ago, and they didn't transfer them over to the new company. Sounds like a bit of a scam, to be honest. It's a good idea. Glitter says, I always take lots of, yeah, so do I know. but they just tried to pull it at the last second to make it my life more stressful. Wendy asked her to had a proper manager who used to shut off the water in the middle of the day because she thought the tenants were using too much water. So crazy people. All right, let's watch the end of this.
It's to the Port Authority bus terminal. What does this tell you about his getaway?
You know, he has told us something about himself he doesn't realize. It starts with that alleyway. It's not an alleyway, it's a beautiful plaza, right? But that he thought to take that little circuitous route, the bike he jumped on was one straight block away. Yet he went through that alleyway. And then he exits the park at 77th Street. His destination is 104th. He could have stayed in the park till 100th Street. He's doing these moves to throw off a tail. He's telling us something about himself. We need to listen to him. He went into that Port Authority bus terminal. Now, Joe Kenny was on that press conference saying there's video of him going in the terminal and no video of him coming out. Well, the New York City subway system runs right underneath that terminal. And there's a tunnel that goes from the bus terminal to the 175th Street and Broadway train station. Yeah. So he went in. Is he going in there to throw us off, to double back down to Port Authority? I know his guys are looking at that.
Yeah.
They're going to look at everything. And if, you know, he took a Greyhound into town, right?
Right.
There's only 3 cities Greyhound goes to from that bus terminal. Philly, Boston, D.C. There's other bus companies in that terminal. But so he has told us what he does. He doubles back, he doubles back, he doubles back.
What does that tell you? What does that mean?
It means that he went to the Port Authority bus terminal. Doesn't mean he took a bus out of there. Maybe he went in there, just like he went down the alleyway, just like he jumped out of the park at 77th. Maybe he went in there to double back down to Port Authority.
Takes a bike, takes a subway, takes a cab, takes a Greyhound bus. I mean, he's all over the place, right?
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, so you hear them there discussing how that guy could have like doubled back or went here, and that's been one of the problems in tracking him. Hopefully they find out where he got to after the Port Authority. Yeah, you think like such a busy city, and it's taken them 2 days just to track him to the Port Authority, or at least publicly. Let me see here. Yeah. Police still unclear exactly who they are looking for. Interesting. In a briefing with reporters, they said the suspect they are searching for arrived in New York on November 24 on a bus that originated in Atlanta, Georgia. They said he then went first to the Hilton before then traveling to a hostel on the Upper West Side, where he stayed and kept his mask on the entire time. Only once did he lower his mask when a flirty receptionist asked him to do so, providing cops with a clear image of his face. Police said that while they have the passenger list, the suspect didn't need an ID or credit card to board it. So, and they said here that the widow had earlier this week said they had been threats against her husband due to lack of coverage. So it sounds like it's definitely what we all originally thought, that it may have something to do with a disgruntled customer or ex-employee, something like that. He could have, maybe at the Port Authority. Maybe like, you know, like the old Batman show where they'd run in around the corner and suddenly be different. Oh, we'll judge. We'll judge. By the way, I wanted to thank my very kind friend Betty C. Late last night, she must have watched the replay in the morning for her. She sent in a very kind donation. I really do appreciate that, Betty C. And I saw that when I woke up this morning. So thank you very much. It's very kind of you. Yeah. Let's go. All right. All right. Oh, by the way, the other night we were talking about life imprisonment, and we were talking about like the difference between Australia, England, and Wales, and the US. So I wanted to quickly clarify that. In Australia, a life sentence is from 10 years to life without parole, depending on the severity of the crime and other factors. In Western Australia, some prisoners must serve a minimum of 20 years before being eligible for parole. And in New South Wales, they now have the no body, no parole laws, where if you have been convicted of a killing or being associated with a killing, and they believe you know where the body is located, you will not get parole unless you provide the family with the location and the return of their loved one. In England and Wales, most prisoners with a life sentence are eligible for parole after a minimum term, which is usually around 15 years. However, in some cases, a judge may order a whole life order, which means the prisoner will be serving life in prison. And then in the US, a basic life sentence in the USA carries a minimum of 20 years before parole eligibility. In some cases, there may be no possibility of release under any circumstances. So there's your three differentiations between Australia, the UK, and America. So we were talking about that the other night, so I wanted to clarify that. What do you think is going to happen with Danny Penny? I don't know. Here, we can talk about it. That's them. Yes, that's the guy who held the fella in the subway, and then he had him in a headlock, but sort of instead of restraining him, it killed him. I really don't know. The footage looks bad. The footage that you see of him holding that guy looks terrible because it looks more than restraining. Does that make sense to you? It looks more than he's just holding the guy. It looks like he's got his arm around him and he's using all the force in his body to wrap it around his neck. And at least to me, it looks more than just like I'm trying to hold this guy and keep everyone else safe. But that's just my opinion. I think if they came back with a guilty verdict, I wouldn't be surprised. Here. Da, da, da. Let me find here, last 24. All right, that didn't work. Let's try this one. I'm just trying to find one we can use so I can show it. ABC. All right, here, let's go to ABC News for this one.
Breaking news, the judge of the Daniel Penny's fatal subway chokehold trial in New York City has been dismissed. The top charge has been dismissed of second-degree manslaughter at the request of prosecutors. All of this after jurors reported that they were deadlocked on the second-degree manslaughter charge. They sent a second note repeating that they cannot come to a unanimous conclusion on the count. Penny is also charged with negligent homicide in the death of street performer Jordan Neely. Police say the former Marine put Neely in a 6-minute-long chokehold after Neely boarded a subway car and acted erratically and screamed at passengers. Joining me now is ABC News legal contributor and trial attorney Brian Buckmeyer. So, Brian, what's your initial take on all of this, and just how surprising is this?
I'm shocked. This is very surprising. Whether you're talking about the dismissal of the top charge from the prosecutor, that's a very rare move and a very big move, because if the prosecutor had not moved to dismiss that charge and it stayed as a hung jury, they would have the opportunity to retry that case later. Dismissing it now means it's gone forever. So it's a very big move by the prosecutor. And then the judge even himself saying, I'm not really sure if this is appropriate or I have the power to do so, but bringing them back for another week, because we're now going to come back on Monday to deliberate on this. There are so many appellate issues and so many even just trial issues that I think Daniel Penny is really doing well for himself, where maybe a day ago he's a little bit more worried.
So, Brian, you called this extremely surprising. Why do you think this decision was made then?
So in my opinion, I think that this is, by the jury, a compromise verdict. And the judge themselves said they did not want that. And what I mean by that is it's peculiar to look at a case like this with the facts that you have and say that you are hung on the idea of Daniel Penny being reckless, but you are still considering him being negligent. If you're making a distinction between the two, that means you, to some degree, don't believe it's self-defense. Because if you believed it was self-defense, it would negate both of those charges. So the question becomes,
yeah, he makes a very good point in regards to either self-defense or the other two. And yeah, as a jury, you would think that you're either on one side or the other. It's not that you have to find a differentiation between the those two charges. It's just either one side or the other, and you can find guilty or not guilty, or whatever it is. Um, I think it's. I've seen that footage of him holding the guy. I don't know. It almost comes across as hero syndrome in that video a little bit, in that he was just like, "Well, I'm the bigger, tougher dude, and I'm gonna be the saver of the day, and look at me hold this guy. Look how strong I am." And that's, and I mean, it may not be, but that's sort of how it views on the video. Only 3 to 4 years. Very interesting. I think people have been afraid to step in and help others for years based on other cases, not just this one. There's been heaps of them. Yeah, I've been on the New York subway. Yeah, I actually have. I have been there. Not for a long time, but I have been there. It is a bit mental. It is a bit mental. Look, that's just my opinion. Yeah, I get that what he was trying to do, but what I think the criminality part here is, at what point does it stop being defending other people or himself? And what point did it ever become a crime? And I think that's what you have to look at. And I haven't been fully following it, to be honest. So if my answers are a little bit out of whack, it's based on only viewing the original video. I've not been following the trial. Yeah, I wonder if we can find that. Yeah, let's see if we can find the original video. I don't want to watch like the guy die or anything. I just want to see the hold video.
Just began in the
in anticipation of a chokehold. Nations yesterday called for a moment they were on that train. The trial has taken in more than a month so
So there's that's a really terrible view. There we go. It's pretty blurry, but you can kind of see it. He had the guy that they were training had 20 past arrests and many violent episodes. It's very sad for all involved. Yeah, it's sad. Sad that someone had to die. But yeah, it's hard to know. I don't know. I wasn't on the train that day, and I don't know. But there would have to be a moment that you know that you're holding a guy that's no longer resisting. There would have to be at least I would think so. Maybe. Like I said, I've not been watching the trial at all. I'm just talking about it because someone brought it up. I think it was Danny. Danny brought it up. I thought the other writers were powerful testimony. I haven't seen it. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know, but if they came back either way with a hung jury, I wouldn't be, shocked at either verdict, especially because they're already having issues with the original slate of charges or potential charges. Yeah. Also, the guy had medical conditions which caused it to be more severe. Reminds me very much of the other one that happened. I think we would have to hear the testimony to make an informed decision. Yeah, I don't have it. I don't think so anyway. Let's see. Testimony. I don't think I have it, unfortunately, or I don't have one I could show you. And because I didn't prep for this case, I don't have it in my notes either. The jury revisits the photo manslaughter charge. No, we know that. Yeah, witness. I kind of think I can use it. Yeah, this one. Here we go. Sorry, there's some news stations we can use and there's some we were not allowed to. I hope this is the right one.
Based on the Daniel Penny trial. Today, we heard from a subway rider who says he helped the Marine veteran hold down Jordan Neely as Penny kept Neely in a chokehold. The encounter would result in Neely's death in the subway. Eyewitness News reporter Darla Miles live in Lower Manhattan with more on today's testimony. Darla.
Well, David, Eric Gonzalez testified he had no idea why Daniel Penny had Jordan Neely on the floor in a chokehold. He just said he saw someone restraining another person and he jumped in and tried to help. It wasn't until after the fact that he realized that Neely had died and that Penny had been indicted for involuntary manslaughter. He said he was so panicked that he took all of his vacation time, went into hiding, and when he was finally located by the Manhattan DA's office, he lied about what happened. Who is the guy in the black hat? That's been one of the biggest unanswered questions in the death of Jordan Neely. Eric Gonzalez is seen in cell phone video, also trying to restrain Neely as Daniel Penny maintains a chokehold. The 39-year-old father, the first to testify Tuesday morning, telling the court that he went into hiding when he found out Neely had died and that Penny had been indicted for involuntary manslaughter. The Bronx resident explaining that he did not see what led to the commotion but jumped in and tried to help, telling Penny at the time, "I'm going to grab his hand so you can let go." But at some point, Jordan Neely's body went limp and I let go. That's when Gonzalez said he tried to wake Neely and check for a pulse before leaving the scene to go to work. Gonzalez telling the court how Neely tried to break free from the chokehold, seen here tapping the leg of a bystander, asking him to tell Penny to let him go. Gonzalez telling Neely they were not going to do that, after which Neely is seen here, fiercely struggling to get loose. NYPD detectives having to track him down a week later. Gonzalez in a panic he might get pinned with a murder charge, testifying, "I lied to the ADA, at first saying Neely struck him first and Penny came down and took him down, and that I also lied and said Jordan Neely was alive and breathing when I left the scene." Now, Gonzalez has been proffered a deal with the Manhattan DA's office that he would not be charged for anything he told the office about what transpired that day in exchange for his testimony. But he only got that deal 2 weeks ago, and he says he's been scared since then.
Interesting. Glitter says, see people trying to help are petrified. Well, he also lied to the ADA about what happened that day. Maybe. You could be right. You could be right, Lola. Maybe he had PTSD. I don't know. Either way, it's very sad. The bit where he tries to tap out, like you see in a wrestling kind of, what do you call it? Like a wrestling, I don't know what you call it, like a wrestling, like WCW or whatever. And he's tapping on the guy's leg to be like, "Hey, I can't breathe. Like, loosen the grip or whatever." I don't know. That's why I'm not on the jury, because I don't know if I could decide on this. Rachel said he also, yeah, I agree. Why did that pop back up? Weird. Gail says he really does have a really long neck, like the drawing, like the UFC. Yeah, like the guys in the octagon. They often do that when they are in those chokehold things, and they can tap out, and then it's over. Rachel says, yeah, it's very sad. I don't know. I think the jury's got a hard job, and either way, you're going to make a life-changing decision for one side or the other, which I guess you could say that's true for any trial. But are you sure? How many people did you kill? You tell us all about your killing fantasies. They spoke to the person that trained him on holds and said he knew better holds that wouldn't kill. Interesting. Schizophrenic. You know, I was reading about a study done on schizophrenia the other day, actually, for a completely different case. And they asked people who have schizophrenia to describe the delusions that they see, audio or visual. And some of the things they were talking about, it must be like living in an alternate universe. Like they were saying they could hear voices that were telling them things that were not really happening. One girl said that she could see shadows that were trying to convince her to do stuff that, was really bad. And I was like, I don't know how that would be frightening. And yeah, just really awful world to have to live in. They were doing this trial. I can't remember who it's for, someone in the UK. And they were asking all these people who had the condition to describe it. And I don't think I can even relate to what they were talking about. A lot of them were talking about a lot of them said the visual hallucinations are not as scary as the audio hallucinations because the audio ones are more convincing. And I was like, ugh, that would be hard to deal with, very hard. It would be, right? It'd be horrifying. I'll have to try find that study for you because it was really, really interesting. Because I don't have schizophrenia. I have no idea what it would be like, and yeah, my research into it for a different case really opened my eyes to what those people go through. Yeah, apparently, so for a lot of them, it advances the longer they are sort of when symptoms first appear, they appear quite mild. But the further they go into it without treatment and the longer that goes, the more advanced they get. And a lot of them end up, in a property out in the bush, thinking that the government's trying to read their thoughts through the TV and things like that. The classic case we've all heard of where when family visit them, they think they're being followed to them and won't let people into their house because they might be federal agents and stuff like that. Yeah, very, very sad. Yeah, sorry that that you had to deal with that. It's a hard thing, Rachel. Very hard disease to work with people, especially if they deny treatment or don't want treatment. It makes it even worse, I've heard. So very sad. If he did have that, that is pretty terrible. All right. God, it's like every case tonight was some sort of divisive case. It's like every single one. What one do we have here? All right. Here. Let's go to Florida, finally. Let's get out of Ohio and New York. Let's go to WKMG. Hopefully this will pop up. No? Okay. It's not being our friend tonight. Here we go. Finally.
Time, West Shoe, following breaking news out of Volusia County, where deputies arrested a realtor they say took advantage of a couple in the hospital.
Yeah, investigators say the realtor took control of their assets after obtaining a power of attorney. West Shoe Volusia County reporter Pamela Combe just got new details from the sheriff there.
A tip for a possible elderly exploitation in Ormond Beach ended with 45-year-old Jason Valiant behind bars Thursday.
They deserve to burn in hell for what they did.
Volusia Sheriff Mike Chitwood says Friday afternoon they arrested his co-conspirator who goes by Coastal Connie.
They conspired to defraud an elderly couple who was dying to become power of attorney, sign do not resuscitate orders.
According to the sheriff's office, one of the victims was taken off life support after Valiant signed a DNR. The couple hired Valiant to sell one of their properties, but the sheriff says they both became sick and he took advantage.
Used checks and credit cards to pay for teeth whitening, lawyer fees, dinners, drinks, car detailing out of it. Just unbelievable that these folks had befriended this realtor and how this guy just took over their lives.
This Ormond Beach house was the couple's home and one of 3 properties Valiant willed over to himself. The two are now in custody and the sheriff hopes they spend their holidays in a jail cell.
Like I said, there's a special place for somebody like that in hell. And we got a special place for them here in the Volusia County Branch Jail.
Covering Volusia County, Pamela Combe, West 2 News.
How much of a absolute scumbag do you need to be to take advantage of a hospitalized couple and steal their assets. I mean, here, I'll take you to this story. They say wolf in sheep's clothing, real estate agent accused of exploiting sickly Florida couple. Jason Valiant, 45, he's being held on a $375,000 bond, and Constance Kellner, 69, held on a $25K bond. Seems like the majority of it is this guy here, and you look like an absolute dork in, what is this? Fruit of the Loom white tee and some sort of cartoon pants and the most ugly shoes I've ever seen, and a hat that does not make you look 25. It makes you look like, hey, young people, look at me. Here it says a pair of Florida real estate agents behind bars in Flagler County are accused in what Volusia Sheriff Mike Chitwood called an elaborate scam targeting an Ormond Beach couple looking to sell their properties, leading to one of the victims' death after one of the agents signed a DNR on their behalf. You absolute piece of crap, Jason. To sign a DNR on someone that isn't related to you and you have no relationship with is disgusting. Someone just, you know what they need to do? They need to have, like, once they're charged and they go through court, they need to have like a community day once a month where they bring out someone like this and they're like, kids, take the stick and hit them a few times, get your revenge, community, come on, come over here. We got plenty of sticks for everyone. Just hit the bad person. They're saying he's been charged with, what is it? An out of county warrant for charges including organized scheme to defraud, exploitation of an elderly or disabled adult, and grand theft over $100,000, grand theft of a vehicle, criminal use of personal ID information, and the illegal use of credit cards. So, and then there's a 69-year-old Constance, another real estate is named in the affidavit. She is accused of working with Valiant as a witness to form signings and in the accompanying Valiant during later interviews with investigators, activities allegedly taken to help exploit 64-year-old Daniel Farley and 61-year-old Emmett Wood, the latter of whom died on July 2 after being taken off life support. So she helped as a co-conspirator to help sign those documents. I know, right? Human pinata, that's right. Come on, kids, grab a stick and whack the bad person. Don't diss Fruit of the Loom. It would have been fine if it was black, but like, why are you wearing a white t-shirt? What are you, a 25-year-old rapper? Only 64, and these guys 20 years older are taking advantage of them. Yeah, I don't know how that worked. Let's see if we can find the affidavit for it. Yeah, let's Valiant's affidavit. I'm sure we'll be able to track it down if it's public. Yeah. Let's see if I can find the PDF for it. No, not that one. Hold on, I need his full name. Jason Valiant. Proceeds, transcript. No, it must not be public just yet, because otherwise it would pop up. No, I can't find it, unfortunately, but I can take you to another website where we can have a look at it. Yeah. They're saying here, Jason Valiant, 45, wanted to develop the oceanfront land into condos or a hotel, according to a December 6 news release from the sheriff. A couple in their 60s in a domestic partnership hired Valiant to sell their property, which was only in one of their names, but Valiant gave them fake lowball offers, according to the sheriff and the affidavit. They're saying when both of the men got sick and were hospitalized in May and June, Valiant gave himself power of attorney and healthcare surrogate powers over them. One of the men was very sick and would later die, but he had 3 properties that were only in his name and not his partner's. Valiant signed fraudulent documents and then willed himself the home and 2 other properties. He signed a do not resuscitate order for the man who owned the properties, and medical staff removed him from life support the next day, causing Valiant, rather than the man's surviving partner, to become the owner of the properties. An investigator questioned Valiant about why the man who died would sign over the deeds to his properties and transfer every asset he possessed to him, a real estate agent with no personal relationship to him and not his partner of 30 plus years. Valiant's only response was to state everything was done by an attorney and was legal. Valiant is also accused of draining the couple's bank accounts, stealing their pickup truck, and using their credit cards for personal expenses such as teeth whitening and dinners at restaurants and auto detailing. 2 of the properties Valiant acquired were oceanfront parcels of land on Flagler Beach that Valiant discussed developing with another real estate agent. The other agent is also charged with 2 counts of being an accessory after the fact. Deputies say she knew about the scheme and helped Valiant fabricate the fake life estate deed and power of attorney documents. That's that woman, Constance, in this other picture here. This is her here. She's the one who helped him bring up the fake legal documents to make this plan, look legal. How dare you? Like for real, how dare you take advantage of what seems to be, I don't want to assume, but a gay couple? Is that what they are? I don't want to be, I don't want to call someone gay if they're not. Not that it's a bad thing, but I don't want to miss whatever them. But to take advantage of them for obviously living in like a partnership that's not a marriage, but they are a common law marriage, like a common law relationship where after, X amount of years, they have very similar rights to a married couple, but not quite the same. It's the fear that a lot of people who live in these type of relationships who are not married have, that if they get sick, that someone's either not going to give their partner what they're owed or what they're entitled to, and that either the family or someone else is going to take advantage of their relationship not being an official marriage or union, and steal all their assets and leave their partner with nothing. And that's exactly what happened here. It's really sad. For over 30 years, so they already are, by definition of that common law relationship, they're far past the whatever it is in that area. I know down here it's not that long, like 7 years or something. So 30 years is multiples of time to prove their relationship. It should have gone to the other party, the other person. That is disgusting. Unscrupulous attorney also, yeah, that person needs disbarring from the profession if they've shown that they're willing to do stuff like this. Let's see. They really are. They really are. Some places don't have common law married. This place, does Florida have it? Let's have a look. Oh wait, they're not from Florida, are they? I know Valiant's from Florida. Hold on. Where's the partials? Where's Flagler Beach? Sorry, my geography is terrible. Oh no, it is in Florida. Okay, Florida. Common law marriage rules. Let's have a look. Oh, okay. That's very interesting. So Florida does not recognize common law marriages that were entered into after January 1st, 1968. This means that couples who live together, share bills, adopt a pet together, are not considered married under the law in Florida. Okay, so unmarried couples in Florida can enter into cohabitation agreements, which can include terms for property division if the couples split up. Cohabitation agreements are similar to a prenup, but there are some limitations. For example, unmarried couples with children cannot contract for custody or child support in advance of their breakup. Huh. So even though they've been together for 30 years, the law down there just don't recognize them as a couple. That's very sad. And do you know what it did? Look, it encouraged scumbags like this to take advantage of them in their, hour of need. Look at this guy. This guy really does deserve like a baton to the face. He has one of those faces that you're like, give me the baton and let me rearrange him because right now, he needs some help. He needs some facial reconstruction with a baton. He just has one of those faces that you just want to hit like that. Sienna says Arizona does not have it anymore. Interesting. Wearing the hairdresser cape. Yep. Also, Florida may not recognize same-sex couple relationships as equal to heterosexual couples. I thought it was a federal thing, but hold on. Florida does not recognize common law marriages, and same-sex marriage is legal in the state of Florida. Florida just doesn't. Okay. But you have to enter into the marriage in Florida. They don't recognize same-sex marriages that were entered into in other jurisdictions. So you have to get married in Florida if you live in Florida, if you want the rights in Florida. Glitter says, but didn't it say 3 of the properties when they were only in one of the partners' names? Yep. You could be. Yeah, I didn't know that about Florida. It really is the wild, wild west in Florida, in like legal relationships slash, that type of thing. That's crazy. I had no idea they didn't do that. Yeah, let's go back to Pinata Boy over here. Let me see if I can find anything else about Jason Valiant. Loser of the decade. Loser. All right.
These scumbags, there's a special place in hell for what they did to this couple.
Strong words tonight from the Volusia County Sheriff after a man is arrested accused of scamming an elderly couple. This local realtor is now charged with taking the couple for all they were worth.
Deputies say he also forged a do not resuscitate order that led to one of the victims being taken off of life support. Fox 35's Marie Edinger is live in Volusia County tonight. So Marie, you spoke with the sheriff about this today. What did he say?
The sheriff says Jason Valiant, the suspect in this case, turns out to not be so valiant at all. But at least one of his alleged victims won't be around to see him brought to justice. In a strange coincidence, this isn't the first time suspect Jason Valiant has been in the news recently. Fox 35 just spoke with him on Thanksgiving Day about a standoff he'd witnessed. He complimented the Volusia County Sheriff's Office at the time.
So they've been doing a good job at keeping everybody out.
Little did he know, deputies were in the process of getting his arrest warrant. He's accused of fraud, grand theft, and crimes against the elderly.
These scumbags, there's a special place in hell for what they did to this couple.
It was the couple's bank that first noticed an issue. Some of the transactions they say Valiant made were tiny. A couple dinners in Daytona Beach. He linked the card to his account at Gold's Gym and made a purchase for $6, used it at gas stations. But trying to transfer almost $33,000 from the victim's bank accounts to his launched the bank into a fraud investigation.
This is pure evil.
Valiant was the real estate agent for 64-year-old Daniel Farley and 61-year-old Emmett Mood. Both of them wound up in the hospital, and Valiant gained power of attorney and was named healthcare surrogate for both of them. But the same day those documents were signed, Mood was intubated and placed on mechanical supervision, a timeline investigators found troubling. Mood died less than a month later, after he was taken off life support at Valiant's direction.
This guy was just a shark. He was just a predator circling.
It sounds like had they kept him on life support, he would have survived and he probably would have made a full recovery. But removing the life support component, like when someone lives for a month after you take them off life support, they have fight left. Like normally when they remove life support and they die within the next 24, 48 hours, they were probably heading in that direction anyway. But the fact he lived a month after removing life support, that means he probably would have made a full recovery had they just kept him on the life support until whatever illness he had cleared the system, and he would have probably made a full recovery. That guy is he's just as bad as those nurses who like inject patients and kill them and stuff like that. Just the same type of evil. They just don't care about anyone but their own lives. And by the way, I have to say, he charged a thing about Gold's Gym. Bro doesn't look like he's seen the inside of a gym in like 25 years. What are you doing charging a gym membership? Doesn't look like he's been there in like 35 years or something. He just does it to look cool. He's like, oh, I'm a member of Gold's Gym. Lives are cheap, yeah, especially if your name is Jason Valiant, apparently. You have to be a real nasty piece of work to make up documents for power of attorney and a DNR over people you have no relation to. You have to be a real nasty piece of work. And I can't wait till he's sitting in a jail cell and he'll wonder, where did my life go wrong? And everyone will just point to the news article and say, well, when you did that.
Waiting for the minute there was blood in that water. And sure enough, when one of them was hospitalized and placed on a respirator, he made that decision to enact. That plan was well in place way before this happened.
How far does the plan go back? The arrest affidavit says Valiant and another real estate agent, Constance Keller, known as Coastal Connie, had talked about it for almost a year. She was just arrested Friday afternoon in Flagler County as an accessory after the fact.
There's like $1.9 million in this estate, some of that of which is beachfront property in Flagler Beach, and they're devising a plan to develop that property into either condos or a resort hotel.
That info came from Valiant's own girlfriend. She'd reported him to the Department of Business and Professional Regulation for suspicious activities in failing.
Well done to the girlfriend. Well done. Thank you for not being someone without a moral compass. Thank you for being a decent human being and understanding that your boyfriend is just an evil see you in the NT. What a decent woman to dob, like that takes a lot of effort to dob in someone that you're in a relationship with. It really does. It takes a lot of guts and determination because you're basically burning down your own life to do the right thing. That's really kind of her. She obviously saw like something not right here. I don't want to be involved with it, and reported his ass.
To properly market Mood and Farley's properties before they wound up in the hospital. She also questioned a new car of his, also belonging to his victims.
I've never seen anything like it. It's so massive. The fraudulent documents, power of attorney, DNRs, confiscating all those funds for themselves.
Valiant was arrested in Flagler County on that warrant out of Volusia, so he is still in the jail there. He's being held on a $375,000 bond. Live in Volusia County, Marie Edinger, Fox 35 News.
All right, let me go to this one. There you go. Doesn't matter. Yeah, well done to that girlfriend to speak up when she realized something was wrong. I think she needs, someone needs to give her flowers. She was probably disgusted too. He is gross. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, we can fix that on the community baton day for Volusia County. Come down, grab a baton, whack a bad guy in the face. That's all. Yep, that's it for now. That's it for now. We'll find out more. I'm guessing, when is he next due in court? In court. I love this. Look, get in the handcuffs, biatch. Get in the handcuffs. Go on, Constance Kellner. Get in the handcuffs, you evil wench. Get in the handcuffs. Go to jail. Valiant is facing charges of organized scheme to defraud and the exploitation and the grand theft. So I would like to see him done with the charging for the illegal documents and the falsifying the medical records and things like that. Yeah, she got a tiny bond. It's only like, what is it, 25 grand or something? I can't remember what she got. I think it was not that much. He got one $375,000 in bond. Constance Kellner. I can't remember what I said originally, but you can blame that on my ADHD. Yeah, 25 grand. Yeah. She got a 25 grand bond. He got 375. So yeah, I don't know how to show you this, but here. So according to the sheriff, or the sheriff, they say the investigator continued questioning why Mood would sign over the deeds to his property and transfer all those assets he possessed to Valiant, a real estate agent with no personal, relationship. Additionally, she reminded Valiant that he had just stated that the sole purpose of the POAs over Mood and Farley were to have access to their bank accounts to help them pay bills, not to transfer Mood's properties into his name. Valiant's only response was to state everything was done by an attorney and was legal. Valiant then advised he did not wish to answer any additional questions, and he got up and left the room. Well, we'll see you at trial, you evil, troll-looking mother effer. We'll see you at trial. Yeah, my policies will decrease crime. That's right. Come down to our community pole in the face day. Yeah, take him off. Yeah, boo. Boo that guy. Boo him. There we go. Yeah, he is a POS. I can't wait till he goes to trial. I'm just going to put stickers of him all over my social media, showing people what a horrible person he is, because everyone should know. So if they ever look up his name on social media, they'll be like, "Oh, he's a scammer of older people. Oh, we should stay clear of him, even in jail." Anyway, he should get I would like to see a murder charge, because that's what it is. Hold on, did he get a murder charge? See, I can't even remember what I read out. Or no. I would like to see that as maybe he can't get murder, but there must be a charge for like medical abuse, because that's what it was. Taking the guy off the life support and giving him a DNR. That's basically like manslaughter. We need to watch the trial. I will. We will. If he goes to trial next year, we'll do a trial following for this one. Yeah, boo. Boo him. Boo, boo him hard. Yeah, manslaughter. I would like to see that added to his charges for sure, because I really believe that guy would have survived. You don't live a month after taking off life support if you don't have enough like energy and fight left in your body. You don't last a month. They last like 24 hours, if that. That guy would have lived. I'm sure of it. That guy would have 100% lived. Yeah, they do. They have bail bondsmen. He's not getting a $375,000 bond though. No one will give it to him because he has a fraud charge. If you have a fraud charge, it's really hard to get a bail bondsman because they don't believe that you're going to give them the money or pay them back or show up to court. It's actually one of the harder charges. I've seen more murderers get their bail put up than fraud charges. Yeah, especially if they're severe fraud charges, it's hard. I don't know. Some of them can be designated a cash bond, which means you have to pay all of it. Some of them can be designated just a normal one where you can get a 10%. Let me see. Florida. Let me see what it says in Florida. In Florida, a bail bondsman typically charges a non-refundable 10% fee of the total bail amount, but I struggle to see one, him being able to grab $35,000, and two, I struggle to see how he would be able to get it. Yeah, I don't see. Yeah, I'm not. I would hesitate for any bail bondsman that would be willing to work with him because they don't have to take your bond if they don't like your case. So yeah, they're not gonna. I can't imagine they would. Maybe there's some unscrupulous bail bondsman in Florida that wants a famous trial or something. But never say never. But most of the reputable ones wouldn't take it because they can't guarantee that one, you'll show up for court, and two, that anything you show them is for real. Because he's, forging paperwork. He's got a lawyer that apparently will, forge like legal documents. So yeah, I would be shocked. And he has to come up with almost 40 grand. So I don't know if they may have frozen his assets in court due to him stealing that money. So maybe Dog will help him out, maybe. Yeah, or he'd have to have collateral. So it depends on the court case. Sometimes they take your properties and bank accounts and they freeze them as proceeds of crime, meaning that you can't use them towards a bail because they're frozen by the state of Florida. So I would wonder if they've already done that. Where's the other man? Yeah, I don't know. What's his name? Did they give us a name? They did, I think. Hold on, let me see if I can find the name. Da, da, da. Yeah, 61-year-old Emmett Mood or Mood. That was the guy who died, right? Yes, he was the one who died. The other one is 64-year-old Daniel Farley. Let me see if I can find anything what happened to him. I can't really find out where he is now. Yeah, I've heard. Later. Yeah, I'm not sure. Hopefully he lived and is out of hospital now. Yeah, hopefully he's out of hospital and has his legal documents back. Wow. He would have needed investors. So I think that's what those meetings that they're talking about developing that land. He was probably courting investors because it's millions of dollars. Like it's a lot of surviving partner. So he survived. Good. Hopefully he goes to court and stares these guys down for every moment of that trial. I hope he does. If he's got the if he can. Yeah, we're gonna follow it. When this guy and this woman go to trial, we're gonna follow it. Because he needs to be a permanent record on YouTube about them. Yeah, they're not that old. I don't know why they called them elderly. They're 60, they're retirement age. That's not elderly. Elderly is like, I think like 75 plus, and I hate using that word. I just call them older people. But that's what I would think when you get into your 70s, mid 70s, 80s. I don't think retirement age makes you elderly. I think that's a wrong classification. Yeah, then yeah, 64. The people who the people who ripped them off were older. Like that woman, she was 70, almost 70. And Dorkface, well, he's 45. But the other lady, this one, she's almost 70. So all right. Oh my god, it's 6 o'clock. Hold. I just checked my, like, because I always check at the end of the show for like donations and things like that. To the person who just sent one, I'm supposed to pay you. That's not the way this works, all right? You help me, and if I ever become rich and famous, I help you. You're not supposed to send me donations. But thank you. I appreciate it. It's very kind. And your message is very kind. I don't want to read it out because obviously they don't want to be named. Gayla says, my brother is about 64, maybe 65 or a bit older. He's definitely not old. Yeah, I wouldn't think it was I wouldn't think he's that old. Yeah, they're not old. Yeah, Dorkface. That's right. All right. That's it. I may come on later if there's breaking news in the morning American time about the CEO manhunt. I may come back for a very early morning show like last night. Glitter says I'm going to sign up for Vine link alerts for this guy so we can keep track of him. You let me know if anything good happens. PM me about it so I can put it for the show and get it set up because we're going to follow this guy. We're going to follow him until he's tried and then he's sitting in a jail. And then I want a camera in his jail cell so we can all watch and point and laugh at him a little bit and be like, haha, you have to sit in a 4x4, have fun. And then we can do that. Hey, I love you all very much. We'll be back tomorrow. Remember, Sunday night, I'm going to show you the designs for the hoodies that we're giving away next Friday. Next Friday when I'm in when I'm in Tasmania. Ugh. I've talked too much and my voice is going. When I'm in Tasmania next Friday, I'll be doing the giant raffle. I've been keeping everyone's names and the amount of entries they have, and the the list. The list has got a little long because some people have donated like $40 or whatever, and I'm like, well, that's that many, and it's so I can copy and paste it to the wheel. But we have something for members too. I'm going to announce that Friday in Tasmania. I have something for the people who are members of this channel. So look forward to that. So if you've done both, maybe you get 2 chances to win something. So I wanted to do something for the members because they're the people who have been sort of contributing every month as well. So I wanted to do something nice for them. So I will see you. Yeah, I'm going to go eat pizza. I finally got my pizza. It came like an hour after I got off the show last night. So it came at like 11 p.m. Even though I ordered it at like 9. It took 2 hours to get here. And the pizza store is like on the other side of my suburb. And it took 2 hours. And I was like, but at least it finally came and it was good pizza. So I'm going to go eat because I'm starving. I will see you. I'll see you tomorrow for more true crime. I will. Mrs. Ping is enjoying her holidays. She is relaxing. She's on holidays for now until New Year's. So she's got about a month off. So she hasn't had a month off in I don't know if she's ever had a month off in 15 years. I don't think she's ever done that. So she's got about a month off. So she's really enjoying getting to sleep a lot. She's sleeping on the couch. All right, I will. Yeah, she's asleep. She's on the couch, enjoying her vacation. She's catching up on a year or a decade's worth of sleep. I saw you ordered at the start of the show. Yeah, I ordered at the start of the show. And then yeah, it didn't show up until like 11. But it was pretty good. It was pretty good. All right. Yeah, maybe she'll be here tomorrow. Wait, is she awake? Hold on. Nah, she's asleep. I called out to her and didn't get a reply. So she's dead to the world. But I'm not gonna wake her up. That poor woman has been through the most crazy surgery and stuff this year, so she deserves to sleep. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I've never streamed on the road before. Um, we did figure it out and how to do it because when we tried in July, we couldn't figure out how to start the live stream, but we had a look at it. We did it on the phone, and now we know how to make it work. So yeah, we'll be when I get out of the airport Wednesday evening for you, when I get out of the airport Wednesday evening for you, and I get in the hire car, once we get on the road and I know where we're going and no one's yelling and throwing everything, I'll turn on the live stream and you guys can talk to me while we go to the hotel. We got like an hour and a half drive from the airport. So I'll have some true crime topics ready and we'll talk true crime and you guys can see what Tasmania looks like. You guys can have a look out the car window and I'll show you like what it looks like and it'll be interesting. Yeah, it didn't show up for like 2 hours. Don't know why. 'Cause I was sitting here doing the show expecting the buzzer to ring, and I was like then as soon as I got the pizza, I was gonna end the show, and it got to like 10:30 or whatever, and it didn't show up, and I was like, I should probably just go anyway." Yeah, we'll see you. Price of food in the airport? I don't think we're probably gonna eat in the airport. We fly pretty early. The cats go into the boarding place the day before, because we're flying so early in the morning that we can't take them to the whatever the boarding place that day. It's not possible. So the cats are going the day before, which will be hard to do, and then we have 24 hours to get our crap together and pack the suitcases, and then get out of here. Lock up everything, and it's you guys don't understand. There are so many people coming for this stupid wedding. The guest list for this wedding is around 150 people to 200 people staying in a tiny town in Tasmania. 200 extra people that are not from the area. So it's so crazy that on the day of the wedding, they have coaches coming to pick us up from our accommodation, and then we have to go pick everyone else up on the coach, and then go out to the wedding venue. Like it's bonkers. It's almost like this is like the Kardashians' wedding. It's crazy. Every time you moan at Mrs. Ping, you buy her a cocktail. She doesn't drink. She doesn't drink, unfortunately. I don't drink either. We don't drink alcohol. So, I mean, we might at the wedding. Like we'll have like a glass of like champagne or whatever, but we don't regularly drink. But yeah, I moan at Mrs. Ping all the time. Although she is pretty good with her honey-do list is like every weekend she's like, "This is what I need done." And I'm like, "How did you think up 40 things to be done on my time off?" And she's like, "Well, they need to get done and I'm afraid of spiders and I'm not doing it, so you'll have to do it." So that's how it works. She tells me what I have to do and I have to go do it. Yeah, it'll be fun. I don't know if I'm gonna stream on the airplane. I don't think I'm allowed to. I don't think you're allowed to do that. So, don't think you'll see anything from the airport or our trip to Melbourne Airport. But when I land in Tasmania and get in our car, um, yeah, I'll start the live stream. So you guys will get to see it when we get there. It'll be great. It'll be great. And then I'm allowed to show you the wedding venue. I'm just not allowed to show you anything of the wedding. I can't show you any bridal party. I can't show you any of the groom or the groom or like whatever his people are called. I can't show you any of the ceremony, nothing like that. But I can show you the venue. So that's okay. We're just not allowed to. They want to put the photos and video out themselves of the wedding for their celebration. It's their wedding. So yeah. Mum mode. You're gonna live, what is it? Make sure you send a t-shirt or a pillow sheet or something that smells like you guys with each of them because they're gonna miss you. Yeah, well, they got blankets. So we have blankets for each of them that they lie on. They're gonna go with them to the cat place. Yeah, I might be able to do that when we're in the cab. So yeah, we take a cab to the airport. And if you live in Melbourne, get this, there is no direct you can't catch a train to the airport in Melbourne. Like, I can't just hop on a train and go to the airport. There's no such thing in Melbourne. So for 40 years, the government down here has been campaigning on, if you elect us, we're going to build a rail line to the airport. They've never done it. Oh, she's awake. Hey, you awake? How's it going? She's like, F off. Yeah, so there's no rail line down here. There's no rail line. So you have to take a cab. And so we have to take a cab from here to the other side of the city and then go to the airport and get on the plane. And we're flying on a tiny little plane to Tasmania. So I don't think we're going to drive to the airport. You want to drive to the airport? No? No, she says no. She says she doesn't want to Oh, you alright? She just kicked the luggage. We got luggage and I had to get my suit dry cleaned and there's stuff everywhere. So we also have to clean that up before we go. You can film and then when you get off the plane, yeah, I might be able to do that and put it on social media. Yeah, so that's what we have to do. We have to catch a freaking cab. Here, I'll show you the airplane. It's like a little tiny. So we're not flying. We are flying commercial, but it's like these little tiny airplanes. Like it's not a Cessna or like a 10-seater, but smaller than you would normally take from Melbourne to Brisbane. It's one of these little guys. We're talking about like a dual propeller, like a little tiny 108-seater. So one of these guys. Oh, really? I'll have to see. It's been a while since I've been on a plane. Last time I went on one, I went to Sydney, but I haven't been on one in a while. So yeah, one of these little tiny little jet propeller type ones. We're not going on like the commercial like 737 or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's one of the ones that they take to regional places. So yeah. All right. The countdown is on. The countdown is on. The wedding is a week from today. So a week from today, we'll be in Tasmania. Actually, 5 days from now, we'll be in Tasmania. Glitter says, especially since it's one of the biggest cities in Australia, that doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make any sense. There is no train to the airport in Melbourne. You have to take a cab. It was NI to I can never pronounce your town name. Edinburgh? Yeah. What is IN? IN. NI. Northern Ireland? You'll be watching my plane on the flight tracker? I don't think you'll know which one it is. There's like 20 different cities in Tasmania that we could be going to. We could be going to the capital in Hobart. We could be going to Davenport. We could be going to what's another city in Tasmania? Launceston. We could be going to Launceston. Yeah. There's heaps of places you can go. Flight radar, yeah, but you would still need to know which one. It's Melbourne Airport. Like we're going to a big airport. You would need to know which one. Yeah. So we got tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday. We're doing the backyard, and we have to clean out here, and we have to put everything away. The house looks like a bomb went off at the moment because there's just stuff that we ordered. There's boxes. There's cardboard I got to cut up. It's just because we didn't have any luggage, so we had to order luggage, and imagine ordering luggage. How big those cardboard boxes are. Yeah. So I will see you tomorrow. I promise. There'll be another show tomorrow. Possibly later tonight, but we'll see what the news. We'll see if there's any breaking news with the CEO thing. If there's no breaking news, I won't come back on. But if there is, I will. Gayla says my sister worked for Qantas in Melbourne CBD, probably the head office. All right. Good night, everyone. Have fun. I'll see you later. I gotta go do travel stuff. I gotta go do all the honey-do stuff. So I will see you. Yeah, 5 days time. 5 days we'll be flying to Melbourne. I study Hobart Tasmanian in my research. For what exactly? For Tasmanian devil? Yeah, we're not going to see any Tasmanian devils, unfortunately. I don't think. Is there anywhere we can go see a Tasmanian devil? Is there a zoo where we're going? We'll have to look it up. I don't think so. I don't think where we go there's going to be a Tasmanian devil. But we'll see. We'll see. We got some time off after the wedding. We don't fly back for a couple of days. So maybe. We'll see. All right. Yeah, sweet dreams, everyone. Good night. Bye-bye. See you later. We gotta go. Bye.